Good morning, Southern California, AM-1220 KHTS. This is Fred Arnold, the host of the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. Very happy to be joined with a member of the community. Been a member of the community for over 30 years with your 3 children and really involved in so much in the community. Kevin Korenthal. I get that right?
That's correct, sir.
I pronounced that perfect from KC Communications. The one thing I want to talk to you about during this spotlight is communication. And a business owner or an organization or someone that's trying to communicate with the media, what are some of the tips that you give people when it goes to communicating with the media and getting the word out on your great business?
Well, when you're working directly with the public, you're a business or a foundation or association that works directly with the public, it's always important to relate to what your potential clients are into. If you are a company that sells hamburgers, you want to make sure that you're talking about the deliciousness of your hamburger. It really comes down to basic. A lot of the things that you would assume reach out to people, like when you're trying to convince a neighbor of an idea that you have for how you should shape the hedges. You want to have a plan in place for how you're going to describe this to your neighbor so that you're selling your idea to him as you're presenting it, because chances are you got one shot. When you cut a radio spot, or you do something on television, or you write an ad for the newspaper, you have that one shot. The person can't come back and ask you questions in that instance. So it's always important you have a really good plan for how you're going to describe your idea to the customer and lay it out in as plain English as you can.
You know, one thing I learned from Jerry here at the radio station is speak as if you're speaking to one of your children. Not that people are children, but it breaks it down into simpler, more basic ideas.
Right, definitely. And if you can use the whatever vernacular or language that is associated with that population and that interest group, it's important that you pull that information out and speak to them as just like you would speak differently to parents in the 35 to 45 age range than you would in the 18 to 29 range.
Another thing, smile a lot. People
Absolutely.
like it when you smile. People want to be around happy people. I want to talk to you also about free press, because there's a way to get into the media without having to pay a lot of money to promote your company. Let's talk about writing articles for the local newspaper and or blogs.
Well, in my business mostly is assisting companies with their need to sell their ideas to government. So a lot of the ways that you reach government is obviously to meet one-on-one with those officials, but another way to affect solutions within government is to get the public on your side. One way that you do that is you take advantage of what's called unearned media, which is an opportunity to actually to sell your idea through whether it be letters to the editor or opportunities to do columns on a weekly or like this show that you have right now is a good idea too. If you're the Chamber of Commerce and you want to attract more businesses, well, bring businesses to a radio station and interview them. That's a great idea, and that's essentially what we see a lot of with a lot of the financial companies. They have regular radio shows and they do articles in the newspaper and so forth, and generally that costs an organization nothing.
Yeah, and so let's talk about video media,
right?
Because there's a lot of no's. And first of all, one thing I always want to mention: assume the mic is always on.
Yeah,
so especially when you're in public, it's always on. But let's talk about video media. The one thing I like about video media is if you post it to the internet, it becomes very viral, especially when it's positive, because of Google and Google search and everything that happens there. What's your advice when it comes to posting online for your customers?
Keep the length of your video to the very minimum possible. People's ability to sit in front of their computer screens and watch a video decreases substantially from 8 minutes, and it goes down from there, depending on what the content is. If you're in an advertising atmosphere, you'll want to keep your ad something to where just a little bit over what a commercial here on KHTS would run, somewhere around 60 seconds. If you can partner your advertising with other larger web video, such as a partnership through YouTube, where you can actually offer your little commercial would run in front of a larger, more popular video. That's a great way to take advantage of video. Always make sure if you're going to put a video on YouTube or any of the other players that it's enabled for mobile because a lot of people will watch videos sitting in a waiting room at the doctor's office that they normally wouldn't watch at all. So that's a great opportunity right there, is to capture a couple of minutes of people's time about your product or your idea.
And make sure you don't do flash only.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
a lot of the iPads and the iPhones and a lot of the devices nowadays.
YouTube is definitely the technology that spreads across the most platforms right now, but I think that's going to change in coming years.
Yeah. So, well, great tips for for 2 or 3 great tips. Kevin, how can those who want to reach out to you?
Well, I'm on Facebook, and I really like to have potential customers come and take a look at some of the offerings I have on my Facebook page. It's KORE Communications, Core Communications. You can type that into Facebook. You can type that into the web. It'll also show you some of my other work and take you to my Facebook page if you want to go there. Search engine optimization is really the way to go. So you always want to make sure, as a business, and one parting tip is that you're optimizing your presence on the web, and that's what we're trying to do at Core Communications.
Yeah, very good. Well, thanks for coming in. Thanks for being a part of the Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for all you do in the community.
My pleasure. Thank you, Fred.
Thanks for being a great citizen.
All right.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight on AM 1220 KHTS.